Alright guys, we're back with another arcade pickup. This time, Offroad Thunder from 1999. So this was somewhat of a spur-of-the-moment deal. I saw it pop up on Friday on eBay. I reached out to the guy, asked if he wanted to do an off-site cash deal, so he wouldn't get hit with the fees, I wouldn't have to pay taxes on it, and we were able to come to an agreement on the price, and we set it up for a Monday pickup. So getting it out of his location was a little tedious, to say the least, but we'll get into that later. Let's take a look at what we have going on with the arcade and where it stands right now. So giving the arcade a quick once-over, it appears to be in relatively good condition. I mean, this is something that's over 20 years old, so there's definitely nicks and scratches, and you know, I think a couple of things I'll end up patching this up there, but nothing overall that's too bad. It does look like they got this probably from an auction. They had a few other games in their basement, one of which they wanted me to take as well, Area 51. I just didn't have the room for it. But you know, this game, everything seems to be there, and from what I'm told, the only issue is the monitor is dead. So I'm gonna have to test the game board, see if anything broke while we were moving it. Hopefully not. And you know, if it's just the monitor, maybe I can fix the monitor, maybe I'll have to do something else. So first things first, I think we get to the game board, check to see if it is in fact working. I believe there's a self-check on this arcade, where if there's something loose or something's out, it'll alert you. So we'll have to listen for that, because it's a tone that plays, or a couple different beeps depending on what the issue is. Alright guys, so I got the back door off, which it was only secured with a couple of screws. It looks like they took the actual lock out. Just taking a look at everything we got back here. It looks like we have the driver board over there, the audio amplifier there. Monitor appears to be in good condition. I mean, doesn't look like there's any broken tubes or anything like that. I'll have to check the fuses, but nothing is really jumping out at me at the moment that's problematic. I'm just trying to get familiar with everything. Oh, cool. So this is the network link cable. So if you have up to 4 of these machines, you can link them together, which is pretty cool. And this is, you know, the start of these like PC based arcades. So you see here we have this massive PC, and it looks like it was serviced at one time back in September 10th, 2001. A day before September 11th, for bad video graphics. So hopefully that's not still the issue. Alright, so the game's working. You see we got... This seems to all work. The dashboard and everything works. This was working before. There we go. Feedback in the wheel works good. But we're having issues with the monitor. And it kind of keeps cycling through, like it wants to come on and then it doesn't. I was getting it initially, where you would kind of see it, but it had issues syncing, then it would cut out. Then I wasn't getting anything. Now occasionally I'll get this green screen and then it'll cut out. I am still a little confused by the wiring for this, so I'm going to poke around a little bit more, see if I can get this figured out. Sounds really fun though. It sounds like a fun game. So hopefully I can get this sorted out. Maybe it's a graphics card issue, which if that's the case, hopefully it won't be too bad to find a replacement card for that. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we ended up getting the video to work. And so what had happened, I was reading through the menus of both the game and the converter board that I used to test boards and things like that. And I realized that coming out of the VGA port on the computer to the VGA port on the converter board, the output resolution on Offroad Thunder I think is around like 15,000 kilohertz, and the VGA input on the converter board only supports I think like 30 to 32,000 kilohertz. So what I did was like I didn't want to hack up the wiring, so it's hard to see. Let me get my phone out. I jammed the this breakout cable from the board into the monitor output that would go to the CRT. I just jammed the cables in there so they're resting on the connectors in the Molex, and then that goes into the board, and that ended up giving us the video signal. I checked the voltage on the CRT. It has 120 volts going to it. I checked the isolation transformer on it, and it's outputting 120 volts. So there's got to be an issue somewhere else on the board for the CRT. It's funny because Cruising USA, in the manual it says that it's like a 450 pound game, or I think, no, 400 pounds, and then this game says it's 350 pounds, and this game has like a monitor that's significantly larger. You know, I could tell you from experience, it's quite heavy trying to move this thing. So there's no way it only weighs 350 pounds. It weighs a lot more than that. Alright guys, so I started tearing down the arcade to pull out the monitor. I probably could have left the control panel in there, but the thing's pretty heavy. I didn't want it to catch on the shifter and crack that when I would be pulling it out. So I decided to just take out the control panel. To make the bracket for the monitor to mount to the rails, all I do is measure the distance and find the midway point, then measure the height between the two, and I just draw these guides across it, and then just again split the difference. So then you mark out your points and then drill your holes, and hopefully your TV fits to it. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's not the best explanation, but hopefully you guys can get the basic idea from it. So now with the bezel in, as best as I can, I'm going to measure where the bezel meets the bracket here. So I kind of marked it, you can kind of see. Just take a marker straight and make a line there. Same thing on the other side, and then down here, you just kind of take your marker, hold it straight, and then try to mark where that's gonna be. And also just trying to get the monitor in here to get a feel for the angle it has to be at, and if I need to make any additional padding to make that monitor come out a little further. So it looks pretty good. I'm going to take a couple more measurements. So now that I have all that out, I'm going to measure the distance between my two marks. looks like it's about 16 inches, which works out nicely. If I measure down, it's about 3 inches there. So if I take this, I'm gonna mark the middle at 11 inches, which makes sense. I mean, this is a 22-inch piece. So I guess that works out. So let me measure down here. To make the bezel for this, I got this sheet of plastic here. And what I did, I just went through and taped out where I'm going to be cutting, and then measured how much of this needs to be cut off to fit inside the arcade. So after I mark and cut out my piece and cut out the center, I use my jigsaw for this. Use my drill to start a pilot hole. Go through. And pop it in, make sure everything fits well. I'll probably go through, clean up some of the edges a little bit more. But other than that, everything looks good. So what I'm going to do now, this is going to be a new thing for me. I'm going to put on some Velcro strips to Velcro it to the monitor so it stays centered. Since usually I'll have it fit with the monitor up to the glass. Since I want to include the bezel in it, I'm going to have it recessed a bit, and to keep that centered, I'm going to use some Velcro. Alright, so now with the Velcro on the back of my bezel and Velcro on the screen, pop this in. I'm just going to get this set. And then let's pop our bezel in here. Okay, so one issue I was having with this was that the monitor was having issues with the vertical sync, and I kept adjusting the settings. If you go in here, this is the converter board. You can go into the geometry, and let me back up so you guys can see the settings. And you can set all your geometry for these like cruising type games. Typically the clamps and clamp ST and clamp SP are set to 0.3 and 0.4. But I was still having an issue with the vertical sync after playing around with the settings on the monitor and the settings on the PCB board. And I saw someone on Clav had recommended wiring in this between an 8 to 10,000 ohm resistor. And that's what I did, and it fixed my issue. So now the screen's looking pretty good, and I just gotta clean that up and finalize it. But then as far as like visually, this'll all be good for the time being. Well guys, the cabinet is pretty much done. The goal was to get it playable again, and with this LCD monitor in it, it's definitely been playable with the sync issues worked out and the video and everything. So I've played it several times now. I've had some friends and family come over and play it, and this is probably one of the most enjoyable arcades I've ever brought into my space. I think Cruisin' has like more name recognition. You know, you think about other racers, probably Rush comes to mind. You know, these big titles from the 90s. And I think Offroad Thunder really gets overlooked because this is such a fun game to play. It's pretty competitive. It's, you know, not too arcadey where like the later style Raw Thrills or even earlier the Fast and Furious cabinets where you just hold down the gas pedal and drive straight. You crash into whatever you want, and you know, there's not a whole lot of skill required. With this game, there's a really nice balance between just driving fast and, you know, actually driving skillfully. And the nice thing about this cabinet is that it has 3 different game modes. So you could do a demolition derby, a standard rally race, or capture the flag, which is awesome because I don't know of any other racing cabinets that offer anything like that. So, you know, you could have this in your arcade for, or, you know, your home arcade for, you know, a few years, and if you get tired of just the standard racing, you could do the demolition derby, or you could do capture the flag, and, you know, it kind of adds some life to this cabinet. So the cool thing about this, you have all these awesome tracks to pick from, and even over here, which I just unlocked, which you can unlock if you win a race. But if you haven't had the time to win, you could enter secret code, and then it would unlock the track for you. Same thing with all these cars here. You can plug in a secret code by hitting the chopper cam button. 111 will unlock that. 222 unlocks the Wildcat. 333 unlocks the Hyena. And what is it? 123 unlocks the Dust Devil over here, this little Volkswagen. So if we go to Demolition Derby, you're still using the same cars and the same tracks, but the goal, as you might imagine, is to cause damage to the other racers. The cool thing is that you could see the cars actually take damage. If we take a look at Capture the Flag, what do we do? Airtime, double barrel. I'll do Alpine there. Let me put in that code. So now I have the flag, and then the other racers have to get it, which they did already. Oh, come on, I just missed. There we go. Oh, as soon as I got it. As soon as I get it, I'll miss it. There we go, come on. That was a terrible run. Much like Cruisin' USA and Cruisin' World, there is different things you could change. So the main thing that I was interested in was, where was it? If you go into, is it utilities? No. Should be adjustments. Oh yeah, general adjustments. So there's an adult mode that you can turn on or off. And pretty much adult mode means how much skin you see on the flag girls. So when I got the arcade, it was off. I'm an adult. I think I can have adult mode on. So I leave that on. There's other options in here. If you want to set it to free play, which it's on now, you can do that here. And then rally race awards. So a free race for first, you can turn that on or off. Free race for first if your cabinets are linked. That's set to no. You could set either miles per hour or kilometers. It's set to miles. We're in the U.S. Unlock all tracks. It's set to yes. And then the other cool thing about this, mainly for the operators, you can also go in here and adjust your pricing and everything like that, your volume adjustments, force feedback, you calibrate your steering wheel and things like that. But the cool thing is that you could go in here and take a look at all these stats. So number of games played on this machine is 2,681. Now, I'm not sure if this was ever reset at any point. I know it was serviced in 2001, but for almost 2,700 plays, considering this machine came out in 99, it feels like that's kind of low. And that's what I was kind of saying before, is that I think this cabinet was really overlooked when it was in the arcade. And I don't really remember it being in the arcade all that long anyway. And if you go down, you could see how many people played Snag the Flag, Capture the Flag, the Demolition Derby, how many people continued, how many free games were won, which is 171. Time that expired in races and things like that. So a lot of cool info in here. And then we could take a look at the tracks and see. So this is for tunnel vision. It was selected 225 times, and it even tells you the trucks that were selected to race on the track and how many times they won. This one, Nitro Ninja, selected 68 times, won 24 times, which outled everyone else on here. Over and under, looks like Outlaw is the winner on this one. But interestingly enough, there's 2, 5, 7, 9, only 10 wins, and it was played 227 times. So if we keep going, airtime, 597 plays, which that's in the lead right now. It looks like Snake Eyes is leading this, but Outlaw leads the pack with 28 wins. So perhaps Outlaw is the better car to race on this track. High Octane, 292 plays. Nitro Ninja, 115 races on this track. But it looks like the most wins goes to Outlaw on this as well. Carneo Chaos, 254 plays. This is actually my favorite track. I love the theming on it. Who is in the lead? It looks like General with 51 races. and he's also in the lead for winning the most races with 9. Cliffhanger, 132 plays. It's one of the tougher tracks. Outlaw raced on this 62 times, won 3 times. In total, there were only 5 winners out of these 132 plays. Okay, here we go. 500 races on Double Barrel. And looks like the winner by far is Bad Omen on this track. That's the tractor trailer. And looks like Snake Eyes, though, is in the lead with 10 wins. If we go Alpine Air, 361 races. Who's in the lead? Looks like Nitro Ninja as well. Bad Omen, or no, actually Stinger has the most wins on this track with 8. Tunnel Vision Mirror, I'm assuming that's in reverse, only 11 races. I'm not sure how you reverse that. I gotta take a look at that. Over and under mirror, airtime mirror. Yeah, I didn't know you could mirror the tracks. I'm gonna have to take a look and see how. But if we back out of this, take a look at the trucks. So Hyena was selected 16 times, 14 finishes, only 5 times manual, no wins. 494 races with Outlaw. That seems like a lot. So, I mean, 494 considering there's 26, almost 2,700 plays. I mean, it's a little less than a quarter per play where someone would pick Outlaw. Let's see. General, 226 races. Thrasher, 164. Silver Streak, 194. Snake Eyes, 396, so that's up there. Chieftain, only 13 races. Wow, not that popular. Bad Omen, 298. Nitro Ninja, 575. That's up there. I think that's the leader right now. How many wins? Only 68 wins. Wildcat, 58 times. Dust Devil, 25. Stinger, 222. And that's it. So it's really cool that you could go in here and take a look at all these stats. I was curious to see, since it's obviously started its life in an arcade, so it's interesting to see what people picked when they would play this game. But then also kind of nosy to see what the people who had this game before me, since it was in a private home, what some of their favorite cars might have been. So again, my favorite track, Carney of Chaos. Favorite car, Nitro Ninja is the favorite. It's the one everyone picks, so I'll pick this one. Gotta do manual. Jerk. I missed the shortcut.
Time extension. 2 laps to go.
Missed the nitro. Oh, here it is. Well, that didn't really help me at all. I think that was actually worse. So considering this is my favorite track, I'm doing pretty awful on it. Oh, dang it. I totally blew it. What a jerk. Choked.